Alrighty, got a game with 3 masters. Let's get right into it. Looks like we've got a Yakai pair, which is pretty nice, as well as a Dora in hand. And don't really have a pair other than the Yakai right now, but that's okay. We can find one later. We're gonna keep the East for a little bit, but we're gonna be dropping it next, most likely. Not sure where. Yep, that's okay. Yep, that's a pair. Now we've got 5 blocks, and we'll just... it's kind of annoying, but... Sure, I'll go ahead and drop the 6-so. It loses the Dora acceptance, but I do think the 3-so is slightly better, perhaps. I'm not sure. To keep in the 6-so, that is. Could be wrong about that. Now we're just going to go ahead and drop both of them, however, keeping the double Liankan shape over here. Well, the 2 Liankan shapes over here, I should say. We're gonna go a little bit fast, just prioritizing speed because we don't exactly have value to speak of. If someone calls Ricci, then we're gonna have to deal with it, but for the time being, no one looks very fast, so we are pretty favored, I think, to be the first one to call Ricci. The player across has now dropped a 6-pin, which is a little bit of a concern, but, well, we'll see. I mean... okay, now they've dropped a 4-pin as well. Yeah, I mean, the more middle tiles everyone drops, the closer they are to Tenpai, generally speaking, as long as we assume that they are, you know, playing a regular hand. So yeah, now that we see middle tiles coming out from everyone, we should assume that, well, they are getting closer, at least, which makes sense considering, well, considering it is the second row already. The 1-4 man over here is pretty weak at this point. Yeah, I mean, we no longer really have a good weight. The 1-4 is only 5 tiles left. And I'm wondering, now it's 4 tiles left, I'm wondering if it is ever a possibility to consider just taking the Kanchan on the 4 instead of the Liamen, but, for example, if we fill in 8-man, then we can potentially take the Kanchan on the 4 instead of the 1-4. Because it only gives us 1 extra tile, but, I mean, I guess we'll see. I'm not too excited to lose the last 1-man, because it does look decently easy to win off of, and also the extra value provided by the red 5 isn't exactly that large anyways. But either way, okay. I'll go ahead and drop the 2 now, how about that? Yeah, I mean, it only gives us 1 extra tile of acceptance, and only 1 more tile of acceptance at Tenpai. So, yeah, I think this is okay. Considering that, well, if we end up on the, on the 8-man weight, I mean, it's also 4 tiles. Basically as good as the, I mean, it's approximately as good as the 1-4 weight. Now we're gonna go ahead and just take this Kanchan now. The 1 did come out, but, well, nothing we can do about it at that point. Alright, Ricci from the dealer. Well, I don't exactly want to drop anything dangerous against them. I'll just go ahead and drop the 5, although maybe that was just the wrong play. Maybe the 3 was good enough to keep, good enough to push. Not exactly sure. But either way, now we're just going to go ahead and drop the 2-so. Hope that we draw something around the 5-pin to get into Tenpai again. I don't think this is too bad of play, considering our hand is kind of weak anyways. Although, yeah, I mean, you could definitely have considered just pushing the 3-man, because getting Tenpai is pretty nice. I mean, that's not too... Keeping Tenpai, right, for the Tenpai payments is actually pretty important. So, I could have been a bit too hasty in losing my Tenpai over there. But, well, it is what it is, I suppose. We no longer have the Tenpai. I'll consider what I could have done in post-game, right? Post-game meaning in one of those windows over here. If that was a mistake, then I'll think about it, or then I'll put a thing over here, right? Say so. So it is East 1, repeat 1, and we have a Yakai pair again. Potentially, I mean, I don't think it's that bad. Just drop the 2 so over here and sort of hope for some kind of flush to happen. But it is a little bit awkward, to say the least, because, I mean, do we drop the 7 so right now? Or the 7 pin, which accepts the Dora? Kind of, yeah, not really that exciting. It's not that, how do I say it, inspiring. Yeah, so now here we've got the Dora, but the question is, well, what do we do with it now? I think I'm okay with going ahead and dropping East, because even if we, even if we pair up the East, I mean, it's just about as good as pairing up the Dora anyways. Although, I guess you could say that. I guess you could justify that. You could use that as an argument to dropping the 8 pin over the East as well, huh? Yeah, that was probably a mistake then. We're gonna pass this poem because we have no pair after calling this poem. But okay, now we can just go ahead and drop the 7, so no problem at all. I say no pair because the white isn't really a valid pair because we need it as a Yaku. Now it is a valid pair because we have another pair, right, that we can use, which is the red. We could also use the red as a pair, and then pull in the white. Perfectly fine as well. But okay, now Arichi has come on board, meaning that we don't really have much time to push this hand anymore, but that's okay, because we've got safe tiles. We're not gonna call pull, and I see how it is. That's tempting, but no. Yeah. The thing about this hand is that even if we sort of push into, into Tempai, the end weight is just bad, right? It's bad weight at Tempai, and we don't even have like a Mahjong or anything like that, so it's probably not correct to push against players, especially when we can super duper perfectly fold. Or maybe not super duper perfectly, but we have a pretty good chance of folding, even without, what's it called? We have a pretty good chance of folding, basically, right? Now I'm wondering if I'm supposed to be dropping green, and I think I'm sorta okay with dropping green, because, well, we are in Ishanten, and it might be considered safe enough to drop, if we do get into Tempai, but I'm not exactly sure if that is the correct play either. Like, we could just drop white, 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 and completely fold as well. Okay, well, here goes that. We're definitely not going to drop the Dora against the player in Richi, so it is over for us. Of course, we can, like, I don't know, pair up the Dora again, but we'll see, I guess. I'm going to drop the 8 because it's 100% safe, and we're probably going to be dropping white, white, white later. Or now, really. Now, but, well, 16 is safe, so well, we'll drop that first, I guess. Okay, here comes white. It's safe now. And we're just going to go ahead and fold on away. No problem at all. We're going to save the whites for later because the 4 could get dangerous to other players afterward, or in a couple of turns. We have no clue of, or we have no way of knowing whether 4 will be safe to other players later. But we do know that white will be safe against other players later because there is no physical way for them to be waiting on it. That's why we're saving these for later and dropping these numbers first so that we have a higher chance of, or we can guarantee our fold, basically. Yeah. Here goes the Dora from the player in Richi. If the dealer doesn't change their hand, I might consider copying the Dora. Okay, they do change their hand, good to know. So we're just gonna go ahead and keep on dropping white. That's a pretty expensive hand. Mahjong for them. Fair enough. As we head over into East 2. Here's our dealer round. We've got, not too bad of a hand. We've got Dora and Dora Acceptance. Well, a red 5, I should say. Not sure where our pair is yet, but we can make Taiyao pretty easily. East is not too important, considering we do have a path to Taiyao. Yeah, sure, let's just get rid of it right now. 2 away from Tenpai, with 2 completed sequences, 2 incompleted sequences, and no pair. Open Kan from the player to the left. Okay, that's a little bit interesting. Something to note. I'm not sure what I should be thinking from this hand, but from this player, but they are probably likely to have some kind of, you know, Yakai in their hand. Maybe white, maybe green, maybe red. Doesn't seem like it's white. Okay, maybe they are just forcing a flush. That seems kind of unnatural, but fine. They dropped the 5-4 from their hand. Never mind, again. Looks like they're not doing any kind of flush. Looks like they're just doing all triplets. Wait. Fair enough as well. I suppose. Definitely want to, you know, keep an eye out on whatever they're doing because, well, yeah, okay. Do we assume that they're in Tenpai now? Well, maybe. What do we do about that then? Do we call Rishi? I mean, 17 just passed, but there's only 3 tiles left of it. I think it's probably fine to just call Rishi, yeah? I mean, we have no Yaku. I want to win. So, I want to be able to take this. It's gonna deal in. It's not. Okay, fair enough. So now, well, this player's got Boy +1, which is 6,400 points, I think. Is that 6,400 points? Yeah, it is. Well, we can't really do anything about it. We're just in Richi as well. We'll see how these players try to fold. And maybe we get our win. Looks like we do. Huge. It's gonna be... it's just 2,000 all, which is perfectly fine. Huge. Alright, well, that was a good win. We are heading over to our dealer repeat now. One, two, three, 4 blocks. Not bad. I'm okay with just dropping the 1 mana, I think. Keeping these Yakai. If we pair it up, then we can start calling. We've got a bit of, you know, bad blockishness over here. Never mind, we don't anymore. Let's just go ahead and drop the Yakai then. Even though we pair it up, I mean, it does give us a 5th block, but I would rather be able to call Richi with this hand at this point. Yeah, oh man, they are really coming. Now we are 2 away from Tenpai. Again, with, you know, 2 completed blocks, and 2 incomplete blocks, as well as a couple of floaters. Not really sure where our pair is yet, although... actually, no. We don't know where the rest of our... where our 5th block is, yes? Is yet. Now we are in Kutsuki, right? Lian Chanten. That's Kutsuki I Chanten, sorry. If we draw around the 6-man or the 8 pin, we are in Tenpai. Okay. We're definitely not going to call this hand, of course, because it just doesn't... our acceptance is large enough that we don't really need to do so to get into Tenpai. There we go. That was a... those were really, really good draws. Wowie. But here we are. And I think we can just cut this to when we win or don't win, because there's not really much else to say about this hand. Alright, looks like the player who chased our Richi has mode. That's fine. Do have to pay 2,000 points to them, but that's not a problem at all. Now we're in 3rd place, going into East 3. The points are relatively close together, so, you know, there's plenty of chances for us to get into 1st still. If we just win a Mangan, right? We're only a Mangan away, basically. So what are we going to do with this hand? Well, there's not a lot of good shapes, unfortunately. Is someone going to pull that? Looks like they are. Fine. They do pull with their wind. I'm going to go ahead and draw, I don't know, the 1 pin. Is that okay? I don't really know. One of these 1s or 9s is probably the correct discard. I'm not really sure which one is best. Now what? Is it Jun? Maybe it's Jun. Maybe it's 1. Well, when in doubt, drop your honor. We'll go ahead and drop that. Yeah, and, well, we're still looking for more blocks. Okay, a Kan from the player to the left. Fair enough. say fair enough, but not really sure what to do in this situation. Let's go ahead and drop the 9 mana, I suppose. Okay. Interesting. Well, now that the player's got 3 calls, I mean, I know that they might not have... what's it called? They might not have Tempai yet. I do want to be a little bit careful against them still. So what kind of hands should we be worried about? Well, Toy would be a problem, of course. Meaning that all of these tiles that haven't been cut are a little bit dangerous. How about 7 then? I mean, 7 could deal into a Liankan shape, but in that case it probably shouldn't be very expensive, so I'm not too worried about that. However, I mean, they could just have had a pair of Dora in hand and that would have dealt into something really bad. I'm not really sure what to do. At this point, I think our odds of winning this hand are low enough that we can just full-on fold to someone with, 3 pawns on board. The only problem is we don't really have a great way of folding against them, so it's sort of drop tiles we see multiple copies of, basically. That's basically what we have over here. 18 was probably better because we saw a copy of it in the wall, but, well, either way. Now 18 is safe against everyone, so we can just go ahead and, well... Oh, actually Forso was safe, huh? Okay, fine. Let's just go ahead and drop the Forso. I didn't see that. What else over here? I mean, 8 man just passed. That's nice. Yeah, we can't just drop the honors anymore, which is kind of annoying, but, well, it is what it is. Because this player could just be Toy and, well, a Toy hand would definitely want to wait on these, right? So for non-standard hands, such as Toy all triplets, you can't just defend like you normally do, basically. The good thing about all triplets, though, is that, well, you can usually see when it happens, right? It's pretty obvious. Or maybe not obvious, but it's relatively, telegraphed, right? That this player has Toy. So, when you see this kind of hand, you can basically just formulaically dodge or, defend against them. 8 is safe against everyone right now. 9 so technically doesn't pass, but the player like a cross or something like that. But okay, it looks like they were just Toy. That is 64, yeah, okay. Putting them in first place, so good for them. We can still summon a Mangan to get into first place, however, more important likely is just avoiding last place, so we'll try to do that. If we can get second place, that would be nice as well. But yeah, probably more important for us right now is just last avoidance, which is a little bit sad considering this hand could call Richi if we tried to, but it's just not something that we should be prioritizing right now, considering the player in the last could totally just, make an upset quite easily. And we do have a pretty fast hand. Bon. Now we're in Yishanten. We still have the capability of turning this into Taiyao, so we don't need to rely on the white dragon. But of course we can just pawn the white dragon to get into Senpai as well. We're not going to pawn the 7-Sos because, again, we lose our pair if we do so. Come to think of it, we had this same exact pair of 7-So and white dragon earlier in the match. That's kind of funny. But either way. Will we get the white? Nope. But that is Tempai, so let's just take it. Kind of annoying to get this kind of Tempai where you have no Yaku on one side, but it's better to take it than not to. So I'm going to be taking it. This West is, well, it looks like a problem, but it shouldn't be that dangerous because the player who's open needs the Yaku in order to use it, which is unlikely because we see, all the Yakai basically. And the other players, well, they are not really a threat at all, so we can just go ahead and drop it right now. Either way, again, if we do end up drawing, what's it called? The 7, so we can just drop white, and then try and turn this into Tayel. It's not a problem, really. So, it's not... We shouldn't be that scared of Furiten, right? There are ways to get out of Furiten, but more importantly, I want to get Tenpai as soon as possible, which is why calling this 8-pin is the correct play. Anyways, we won the 1,000 point hand, and that's none of that. Unfortunately, we are, you know, 3rd place, but I think it was important to get to the fastest Tenpai, so that's what we did. Alright, well, that's the end of the game, and hope you guys enjoyed. See you guys next time.